That shirt's just missing a B.
But then you would have to wear it.
The Brad life? Mm-hmm. You're kind of living the Brad life as well.
That's true.
And the Rad life.
True.
I'm Brad.
I'm Rach.
And the kids are in bed.
Yep.
This is an episode that 4 months ago we would have never ever dreamed about filming.
This is an unprecedented time that we're living in.
It's crazy.
It is crazy.
So we're both optometrists, eye doctors, if you will. It's hilarious. People get offended when we call ourselves doctors.
I know.
It's like, why does that offend you?
I don't know.
We have a doctorate degree in optometry.
Our title is Dr. Rachel Engelbarts and Dr. Brad Engelbarts. We just so happen to earn it, too.
And people just get really PO'd because we call ourselves doctors, even though we're not medical doctors.
Right. You know who else is a doctor? Somebody who has a doctorate in philosophy. People who have a doctorate in astronomy.
Medieval literature.
Yeah, you can have a doctorate probably in that. And you would also call them doctor. But they didn't go to med school either. I don't know. It's just wild.
It's just funny that people...
Not that I feel like I have to defend our degree.
No,
but
not at all. But it's funny that it rubs people the wrong way.
It takes 8 years to be an MD, and it also takes 8 years to be an eye doctor, and we spend 4 years of that training studying the human eye. And so, arguably, we know more about the human eye than an MD does. Usually.
Yeah.
So, if you have an eye problem, you're gonna wanna go to us over an MD. Unless it's an MD that also has specialized in eyes.
An ophthalmologist.
An ophthalmologist.
And that's 12 years of training at least.
At least.
Minimum.
And ophthalmologists are phasing out, from what I understand, phasing out primary care, where they do routine eye exams. And most ophthalmologists that, I've had a working relationship with are trying to get more days where they're doing surgery and less days where they're seeing patients. They like to have an optometrist as their, I guess they would call it a mid-level.
Yeah, so the smart ophthalmologist will bring an optometrist in so that we can do like the refractions and the simple disease stuff. We can take care of that.
Manage glaucoma without surgery.
And then they can focus on surgery and, like all the really tough, crazy cases.
Yeah, so besides surgery, our routine eye care compared to an ophthalmologist is identical. I mean, I don't even have to qualify with besides surgery. Our routine eye care is identical to what an ophthalmologist would provide.
Exactly.
So anyway.
We are at very high risk for contracting COVID because when we're doing an exam, we're literally 10 inches from the patient's face.
We're breathing the same air. There are certain techniques that we can do where we are 1 inch from the patient's face. And when we do mission trip type work, we don't have like our fancy microscope that we're 10 inches away. And our hand is literally, our hand goes right here. So I can feel the patient's breath on my hand too when I'm doing our microscope exam.
That's always pleasant.
Currently, but yeah, I know. Oh, I know. Especially with the masks because it like directs it straight up.
Did you have shrimp for breakfast?
Yeah. Oh, and onions. Nasty. So, but when we're in the field, like doing mission work, we use a different technique where we look into the eye like this and we're that close. So, and on some kids, I have to do that. So yeah, we're at, like you said, a very high risk of contracting any airborne.
There's been a couple of lists of like which professions are at like the highest, and I think dentists were number 1 and optometrists were number 2 on a couple of different lists that I saw. So.
Yep. We're also in an enclosed room.
Yeah.
A small room. So some smart folks realize that as an optometrist, you don't need a 20-foot lane to perform a visual exam because your vision is tested at 20 feet. That's what's optical infinity. But now we use mirrors, and so it compresses it into, I don't know, what are our rooms, like 10 by?
Probably 10, yeah. But even, there's digital charts that you could just say how long your exam lane is, and it'll
Calibrate.
calibrate it exactly.
Yeah. So with all that said, our jobs have changed pretty
dramatically.
pretty substantially
Yeah.
since this whole COVID thing.
Right.
We had to shut down.
Yeah, so our clinic shut down for probably 7 weeks, where we did emergency eye care only, which I think you went in once and I didn't go in at all.
Right.
We don't own the practice, and so our owners probably went in more often than we did, but we didn't go in a lot. So a couple of the things that we've put into place is patients will call us when they arrive to the clinic from their car. And when we're ready for them, we'll go out and get them. So nobody's in our waiting area, and they're not allowed in until we let them in.
And they go straight back. Well, they check their temperature and everything outside and provide them with a mask unless they have one of their own.
Yeah, so as soon as they walk in the door, we take their temperature. If they don't have a mask, we give them a mask, ask a couple of questions, and then we take them back.
They're trying to do the screening questions before their exam just to streamline things, but it's the usual questions that any doctor's office is asking any patient right now. Like, have you traveled outside the country? Have you traveled to anywhere where COVID-19 is prevalent?
Do you have any symptoms?
Have you been around anybody who's had these symptoms? So just everyone's gonna say no, because if any of those questions are a yes, then you're gonna be sent right back out the door.
Exactly.
And then if their temperature is above, what is it?
Yeah,
I don't even know what we're cutting it off at.
I'm not sure either.
Yeah, I think technically it's like 100.4, but I bet
Probably
if it's,
100. But
yeah, I don't know. We're also, all the employees are wearing masks and taking their temperatures upon arriving at work. So masks all day. If you're in the front with the patients, then you're wearing like a surgical mask or an N95 mask, and those who are sort of in the background are wearing like cloth homemade masks.
So like sanitation protocol, we used to basically just clean like the instrument that we use that goes on their face. It's called the phoropter. We used to clean that. Obviously any surface that would touch the patient we cleaned, but now we clean basically the entire chair, everything around it, the keyboard, the mouse,
the entire surface of the counter,
and then our whole like equipment set up.
Yep, lenses, everything that we encounter during the exam. We also have extra shields that have been made by one of our doctor's husbands is very handy, and he made these shields that hang from the machine where we measure your prescription, Better One or Two. That thing has a shield in front of it so that the breath doesn't, they can't breathe on you, I guess, because our hands again are like right here while we're doing that test. So if they're breathing on us, that could be dangerous.
Yeah. So that thing.
Oh my gosh, that thing falls down.
Every patient hits that.
They reach up to touch their nose or their mask. Their mask fogs up the lenses, and it's just getting constantly knocked down.
Yeah. I still like it though. I'm glad we have it.
I am glad we have it too.
I don't think we'll ever get rid of that.
I don't think so.
Even though it falls off all the time.
Yeah. It's really tough though, because the masks fog up. Basically everything that we use in the office has a lens of some kind, and it just gets fogged up every step of the way. It's maddening.
Yeah, I've been having the patient pull their mask under their nose for when I do the Better One or Two test behind the phoropter.
You do automatically? I found that like maybe 50-50 fog up. So I go ahead and try it, and then I just let them know that a lot of times it's gonna fog up, and let me know if it is, and we'll pull it under your nose. Sometimes when I say that, they just go ahead and pull it under their nose.
Yeah.
I literally had a patient last week that pulled her mask completely off and then coughed.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Good thing, I mean, we're obviously wearing N95 masks the entire day,
But,
really.
yeah, I know, but so it's like anybody else, the point of the mask is to protect other people. And so I don't know if that mask that she was wearing would have protected a cough droplet from entering the air, but worst case scenario, that droplet is in the air for 3 hours and another patient encounters it, or the next patient that has to pull it under their nose breathes it in, and it's just, people don't get it.
That's
you know,
crazy.
All of this is wild and it's really weird, but it is gonna probably decrease the risk of any illness.
Yeah, like cold and flu season this year.
I wouldn't mind having some extra layer of protection there, because we have some patients come in to get a routine eye exam that are sick, obviously sick. And it's like, we're all exposed at that point.
But not even, I mean, yeah, like some people come in that are sick, but we get a lot of people that smell bad.
Oh yeah.
Like their breath or their armpits, I mean, they just stink.
Yeah.
So it's really nice to have this added layer of protection where you can't really smell anything.
If you have a piece of gum in your mouth and you're just breathing your recycled air, all you can smell is spearmint.
Exactly.
It's pretty wonderful.
So that's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Have you like been close to hyperventilating or passing out during an exam?
Worse when it wasn't during an exam. It was wearing an N95 mask when I took Eloise to get her ultrasound. I thought I was gonna pass out then. And I've maybe gotten lightheaded a few times when I'm trying to explain something at length where I'm like talking a lot. It seems like talking gets me winded in the mask more than just general breathing.
Yeah.
So, not exactly, but you have.
Well, once I was doing it was random too. It was like my third patient after lunch. So it wasn't like even like the first patient after lunch or the first patient in the morning or like at the end of the day. And yeah, I was just like doing what's better, one or two, and just kind of like had, you know, like how the room kind of just like goes slowly or whatever, get a little bit lightheaded. So luckily I was done at the point where it was her final prescription. And so I just kind of went over to the computer, did the digital chart, like just had to read all the letters, because usually we go right to 2020 and have them read it and then we're done. But I started at like 2040, had to read the 2040, the 2030, the 2025, the 2020 line while I'm over like at the computer, like breathing. Yeah, catching my breath.
Yeah.
So luckily, like I caught my breath and then I felt back to normal.
Yeah, it returns pretty quickly.
But I almost like left the room and went and got a drink. Like that would have been embarrassing, I think.
For sure. Well, you could have played it off. There's been a time where I like swallowed spit down the wrong pipe in the middle of an exam and had to just like fight through because I couldn't. Yeah.
Was that during Corona season?
No, fortunately it was not. But oh my God, and I've left the room for that because I just couldn't. Like my eyes were watering and oops. But yeah, it's weird how quickly you become used to the mask, because I remember like the first day I was thinking there's no way I'm gonna be able to do this, and now it's like, yeah, I know, it doesn't bother me at all. Right. Wearing it.
No, I don't think I prefer it, but it doesn't bother me anymore.
It doesn't bother me at all. And it is weird too when, I don't know, it's weird that like you don't see the half of the person's face. I feel like it does interrupt like the interpersonal communication that happens there.
Yeah, for sure.
And then there was one patient that misunderstood me about pulling it under his nose during the refraction and just took the whole thing off. And I remember pulling the 4-opter away and I was like, man, you look like a completely different person. He had a goatee and I didn't know he had a goatee under there. It was just weird.
That's funny.
It's like a completely different person under that mask.
Yeah, I believe it.
And they can't see our faces either. Weird.
So let us know what your profession is, how COVID has changed what you do. Are you working from home? Are you going in? Let us know.
Yeah. Other than the protocols in place for us, our jobs are pretty much the same. We can't obviously work from home. And I think initially we wouldn't some doctors weren't comfortable doing like new contact lens fittings where they would have to spend a lot of time training the patient. They were trying to just keep exam time shorter and, I don't know, minimize the interaction, but we're doing everything normally now. Yeah. So, yeah, let us know, and we'll see you next time.
All right, hit that subscribe button. What are we doing next?
Our favorite things.
Our favorite things in the whole wide world.